Hi everyone, welcome to the Recovery Opinion. In today's video, I'll be reading over an article written by the Associated Press called Democrats and Advocates Criticize Trump's Executive Order on Homelessness. After, I'll be giving my thoughts and opinions about it. And then I'll be ending the video by inviting you, the viewers, to the comment section to give your thoughts about this article. I'll be posting a link to it in the description. Alright, let's get started. So here's the article and I'll be reading it now. Leading Democrats and advocates for homeless people are criticizing an executive order President Donald Trump signed this week aimed at removing people from the streets, possibly by committing them for mental health or drug treatment without their consent. Trump directed some of his cabinet heads to prioritize funding to cities that crack down on open drug use and street camping with the goal of making people safer. It's not compassionate to do nothing, the order states. Shifting these individuals into long-term institutional settings for humane treatment is the most proven way to restore public order, the order reads. Homelessness has become a bigger problem in recent years as the cost of housing increased, especially in states such as California where there aren't enough homes to meet demand. At the same time, drug addiction and overdoses have soared with the availability of cheap and potent fentanyl. The president's order might be aimed at liberal cities such as San Francisco, LA, and New York, which Trump views as too lax about conditions on their streets. But many of the concepts have already been proposed or tested in California, where Governor Gavin Newsom and Democratic mayors have worked for years to get people off the streets and into treatment. Last year, the U.S. Supreme Court made it easier for cities to clear encampments even if the people living in them have nowhere else to go. Still, advocates say Trump's new order is vague, punitive, and won't effectively end homelessness. Newsom has directed cities to clean up homelessness encampments, and he's funded more money into programs to treat addiction and mental health disorders. His office said Friday that Trump's order relies on harmful stereotypes and focuses more on creating distracting headlines and settling old scores. But his imitation, even poorly executed, is the highest form of flattery, spokesperson Tara Gallego said in a statement, referring to the president calling for strategies already in use in California. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie has also emphasized the importance of clean and orderly streets in banning homeless people from living in RVs and urging people to accept the city's offer of shelters. In Silicon Valley, San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan recently pushed a policy change that makes a person eligible for jail if they reject 3 offers of shelter. Trump's executive order tasked Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Secretaries for Health, Housing, and Transportation to prioritize grants to states and local governments that enforce bans on open drug use and street camping. Devin Kurtz, the Public Safety Policy Director at the Cicero Institute, a conservative policy group that has advocated for several of the provisions of the executive order, said the organization is delighted by the order. He acknowledged that California has already been moving to ban encampments since the Supreme Court's decision, but he said Trump's order adds teeth to that shift, Kurt said. It's a clear message to these communities that we're still sort of uncomfortable because it was such a big change in policy. But Steve Burke, Chief Policy Officer at the National Alliance to End Homelessness, called parts of the order vague. He said the U.S. abandoned forced institutionalization decades ago because it was too expensive and raised moral and legal concerns. What's, what is problematic sorry about that. What is problematic about this executive order is not so much that law enforcement is involved, it's what it calls on law enforcement to do, which is forcibly lock people up, Berg said. That's not the right approach to dealing with homelessness. The mayor of California's most populous city, Los Angeles, is at odds with Newsom and Trump administrations on homelessness. Mayor Karen Bass, a Democratic, opposes punishing sweeps and says the city has reduced street homelessness by working with homeless people to get them into shelter or housing. Moving people from one street to the next or from street to jail and back will not solve this problem, she said in a statement. Reaction to the article is that not everyone that is homeless got homeless from a mental health disorder. It could have been due to a wide range of factors like eviction, getting laid off from a job, or another medical condition like a physical one that we don't know of that could have affected their ability to work. There are just too many factors to name that could have played a role in one's personal life that are not widely mentioned enough because not everybody's living situation is the same. So I don't think that forcing the homeless to seek mental health treatment just to get them off the streets is an effective way to end the homelessness crisis, and it may do more harm than good. So to support my argument more, back when I was living in Hawaii, prior to living here in Vegas, there are a lot of homeless encampments developing in places like community parks, beach parks, and bus shelters. And from watching and hearing from local news sources, community advocates, part of the reason why they were growing was due to the availability of drugs like meth and fentanyl, uh, similar to bigger cities like LA and stuff like that, and how easily it was to get addicted to those drugs. The executive order from the article may work in cities where there's a clear and verified relationship between homelessness and drug addiction, because drug addiction is classified as a substance abuse disorder under the mental health umbrella, so technically that's a mental illness and it may work there. But I believe these types of actions, like implementing the executive order, should be used sparingly, because not everybody's living situation is the same, once again, and they didn't get homeless. Not everyone that's homeless got homeless due to a drug addiction or mental health disorder. So, in conclusion, although I do believe that the United States has a homelessness crisis, we should instead come up with a solution that reinforces more rewards for good behavior in the homeless, rather than focusing so much on punishing them. So it motivates them to seek the better options instead of staying on the streets. So those are my thoughts on this article, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. So I'll be sure to respond to them. Thanks for watching. Thank you.